I was going to share with you guys my idea of building up an old Sheepsfoot that's worn out, and one that is probably pretty rough that I should have never bought it. But anywho, I did, and just a lot of wear, or especially if this came from South Georgia, where it was probably more sandy. You can see how I've never been around one of these old Sheepsfoot, but I think the heel there is supposed to be a little bit more square. I assume that's just from rolling that heel down in the dirt. My single drum somebody built up was more like these ones I've already built up here, a little bit square. I'm not doing anything fancy, and I don't really understand how these things are worn so inconsistent. I don't know if it's just when they were casted, the different types of steel, or what, but like some of these, like this side will be 8 off, and then like the next one up, like this side will be 8 off. They're so inconsistently worn. You think they'd all be the same, but they're not. I don't know if that's from turning or what. But anyways, and some of them are even missing, which I've got this tube there that's about the exact same size I'm going to put on there, and then I've got some 2-inch by 1-inch flat stock. I'm going to just make it fit, but you can see this is so old that it was so worn out. Somebody took a lot of time, almost as much as I'm going to put in this, to cut them all off, and then they welded all new feet on. But the cheapest way I found to build these out is I bought rebar 3/8, half, and 5/8, and I'm doing about 2 inches wide. I'm doing on the really bad ones, I'm putting 5/8 on the back here, just kind of going flush with what is there, and then some of them barely worn to where I'll just build it up with weld, and depending on how worn it is, put a 2 to 2.5 piece, 2 to 2.5 inch piece of half or 3/8, and then I've found it easier to weld the bottom and then the top, have less problems that way, and then I just fill it in, kind of square it off. Nothing fancy, nothing pretty, but in the clay, this will probably last long enough for us to afford a vibratory roller. I have a single drum that somebody had already spent all the time to do this, but this is a double drum, and I think I got 102 more feet to go. I got 10 done. Kind of ratty looking since it had all those feet cut off, jacked up like that, but is what it is. Anyways, just thought I'd share my thoughts if somebody had one they were wondering how about to go about it, because there's not an easy way to square off these rounded. I mean, most people just scrap them. Anybody with a brain. I guess I don't have a brain. It's going to take hours and hours of welding. But anyways,